I paid my parents' mortgage for 5 years in secret. At my sister's wedding, I found out where the money really went. I spent 5 years believing I was keeping my parents from losing their house. Turns out I was funding someone else's dream. When I was 26, my dad, Robert, called me late one night. His voice sounded different, smaller. He said they were 3 months behind on the mortgage after his hours at work had been cut. My mom, Karen, had already taken a second job, but it still wasn't enough. They were terrified the bank would start foreclosure. I don't want your sister finding out, he said. She has enough on her plate. My younger sister, Hannah, had just finished graduate school. She was always the one everyone protected. I had just started making decent money as an electrical contractor. Not rich, but comfortable. I asked how much they needed. Dad hesitated before saying, if you could cover the mortgage for a while, we'd get caught up. I agreed before he finished talking. The payment was about $1,900 every month. Every first of the month, I wired the money. Dad always texted afterward, you're saving this family. You have no idea what this means. We'll pay you back someday. I never expected repayment. Helping your parents wasn't supposed to come with receipts. Over the years, I skipped vacations, turned down fishing trips with friends, and drove the same old truck long after I could have replaced it. Whenever I visited, Mom talked about rising bills, expensive groceries, property taxes, and how they were barely getting by. I believed every word. Hannah lived in another state and worked in marketing. Every time I saw her, she seemed to have something new. A nicer SUV, designer handbags, weekend trips. Dad always smiled and said she was finally doing well and deserved to enjoy life after working so hard. I never questioned it because I trusted my parents completely. 5 years later, Hannah announced she was getting married. The wedding was held at a beautiful vineyard. The flowers covered every table, the food was incredible, and a live band played through dinner. Everything looked elegant without feeling over the top. Looking around, I honestly felt proud that my parents had somehow survived their financial problems and still managed to celebrate Hannah's big day. During cocktail hour, I overheard two bridesmaids talking near the bar. One asked, are her parents paying for all this? The other laughed. They've been saving for this wedding for almost 6 years. I stopped walking. 6 years. Then Mom walked over with a glass of champagne. One bridesmaid smiled. You guys are amazing. Most parents couldn't save this much. Mom grinned proudly. We made sacrifices. That single word stayed with me. Later that evening, I found Dad sitting alone outside, watching the guests dance through the reception hall windows. I asked quietly, how much did this wedding cost? He hesitated. Probably around $120,000. Where did that money come from? He looked away. We saved. I asked one more question. Did my mortgage payments make that possible? Silence. Dad rubbed his forehead. The house wasn't really in danger. I felt my stomach sink. What? We refinanced before I called you. We could afford the payments. I didn't say anything. He continued. We thought if you believed we needed help, we could finally give Hannah the wedding she deserved. The music from inside suddenly felt very far away. You lied to me every month for 5 years. We knew you'd help. Mom walked outside. She didn't deny it. You've always been responsible, she said. Hannah needed a good start. I laughed once. So I wasn't paying your mortgage. You were helping the family. No, I replied. I funded your favorite child. Neither of them answered. I left before dessert. The following Monday, I gathered every bank transfer, every confirmation email, and every text message. Every payment was labeled mortgage. Every thank you message was still saved on my phone. Then I hired an attorney. The payments totaled just over $114,000. He sent a formal demand letter documenting fraudulent misrepresentation and requesting repayment through mediation before filing suit. 3 days later, Dad called more than 30 times. Mom left emotional voicemails asking me not to destroy the family. Hannah called once. I just found out, she said quietly. I swear I didn't know. I believed her. She confronted our parents herself. They admitted everything. Hannah transferred the remaining wedding money into an escrow account and canceled the luxury honeymoon they had planned as a gift. I won't keep something built on a lie, she told me. 2 months later, we met for mediation. My parents agreed to repay every dollar after selling a vacation cabin they had secretly purchased during the same years I believed I was saving their home. I hadn't even known the cabin existed. The sale covered almost everything immediately. When the paperwork was finished, Dad looked across the table. You really sued your own parents. I pulled out one of his old text messages. It read, you're saving this family. I folded it, slipped it back into my folder, stood up, shook Hannah's hand, thanked my attorney, and walked out. Nobody followed me.